We're doing it. We're becoming mighty. Oh my god, I forgot one more thing. Finally, Sonic Timeline Part 3. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, alright, so Gray, don't use this footage first. You gotta like reel them in with some grabber or something that's gonna make all the fans flock to the video and realize that I'm actually talking today about Sonic Timeline Part 3. Oh boy! Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Cameras focus. We're good to go. The Sonic boys are behind me. Let's move them over a little bit. It doesn't make the noise. Why aren't you making the noise? Sonic Advance. Yes, that's next in the timeline. Am I just gonna start this without even addressing the fact that it's probably been over a year since my last video?
Yes!
Has it been over a year?
Yes!
Alright, Sonic Advance is a game for the Game Boy Advance.
Hey, no fuck shit!
And it brought back Sonic the Hedgehog after a little bit of a hiatus. Sonic Advance Sonic Advance dropped shortly after Sonic Adventure 2 for the Game Boy Advance. It followed the plot of the original Sonic the Hedgehog games, with Eggman coming back as the villain and Sonic and his friends going to stop him. It brought back the 2D platformer gameplay after a couple of games dabbling in 3D, and these sprites are absolutely gorgeous. I'm rambling on a little bit about things that surround this game rather than the actual story because there's not much there. But if we want to talk about it in context of the timeline, basically Sonic gathers all the Chaos Emeralds with his friends, and then at the end he defeats Eggman, who escapes to the moon.
Space!
Yeah, he goes back to the moon again after Sonic Adventure 2 and blows it up. But I guess it's back in full force again. So the moon has been repaired somehow.
To show you the power!
Sega still hasn't addressed this properly. But the evil genius escapes to the moon, Sonic becomes Super Sonic and chases after him. He beats Eggman, flies off the moon. Tails, Knuckles, and Amy try to figure out where Sonic went, and Tails goes to search for him, and he finds Super Sonic, who's come back from the moon. And he does this little heroic wave at Tails, and that's pretty much the end of the story. So very basic formula, but I want to talk a little bit about the gameplay if I have nothing else to say about Sonic Advance. As I mentioned, the gameplay goes back to 2D classic style, but focus a little bit more on speed rather than momentum. In the original Sonic trilogy, it's all about pinball physics and rolling around to gain speed, and basically speed running. The better you can manipulate these physics, the better your speed run is gonna go. In Sonic Advance, it's more about speed. Sonic takes a little second to accelerate, but once you've picked up that speed, he's really into the motions and momentum of everything. Spin dashes and rolling is definitely a thing in the game, but it's not as emphasized as much as the classics. So I kind of think the next few games I'm going to cover are somewhat lost gems in the Sonic series that aren't really discussed that much on YouTube or played a lot in general.
That's not entirely accurate.
So the whole Sonic Advance series has 2D platformer styles, and it emphasizes the different gameplay styles with each character. You get to play as Sonic, Amy, Knuckles, and Tails. Sonic is his normal fasty guy.
It's never time to not fast.
Tails does the little flying fast thing mixture. Knuckles does the climbing and gliding, and Amy maneuvers around with her hammer. So when you play this game, you go through 6 normal zones, and then the last 2 bonus zones where you take on Eggman. They're split up into acts very similar to the original trilogy. Act 1, Act 2, and then finally, you complete Act 2 by defeating Eggman's machines at the very end. You can't go wrong with this formula. You can't go wrong with the formula. It's been done in Sonic Mania, but I'm getting ahead of myself. People absolutely love these games, and I don't see any real complaints with the Sonic Advance series, so I think they definitely deserve to be in the timeline. If we want to actually put a canon explanation for Eggman's motive here, let's just say a lot of time passed between Sonic Adventure, where Shadow was lost at the very end and passed away from his fall to Earth, and Eggman, who decided to take a little break, realized that he is still evil at the end of the day, and went after the Chaos Emeralds, and Sonic and his friends decided to save the day once again. I also think this game was a very significant title in gaming history because it also saw the iconic Hedgehog come to a Nintendo system for the first time. That was unheard of. I mean, Sonic, the mascot of Sega, Nintendo's rival, on a Nintendo system? I know it doesn't really sound like a big deal now, but then it was huge news. I mean, the Dreamcast is defunct, so there was definitely no more hardware coming from Sega. But at the end of the day, we got this really nice gem, and a very reputable team known as DIMS worked on this. You may know DIMS for working on several Dragon Ball Z games, other Sonic games like Sonic Advance, Sonic Rush, and I think they also did some work on Street Fighter V. Do we still hate that game?
Pretty well known that SF5 had numerous issues both pre-launch, launch, and for a good number of years post-launch. 8 frames of lag, lack of content, less than optimal online play, unbalanced characters, kinda stale gameplay, esports shenanigans, etc, etc, etc.
I'm gonna say yes.
Anyway, so that is Sonic Advance, and it goes right after Sonic Adventure 2 on the timeline. Next up, Sonic Advance 2. Now the game starts with Sonic running through Leaf Forest, and he witnesses Eggman kidnapping a young rabbit and her Chow. Now we haven't seen Chow in a little bit. Actually, we have Sonic Advance. Don't listen to me. Anyway, Sonic does Sonic things, and he goes after Eggman and defeats his little stupid machine, whatever. And then he rescues the rabbit, and we find that her name is Cream. And her pet Chow is Cheese. It's like cream cheese. You know, you put on a bagel. It's one of those. It's that type of pun.
And then they died.
So now that we know that Eggman is back terrorizing our friends once again, Sonic goes after him and pursues him like the madman that he is, and Eggman is trying to win again with his persistence and his consistency. If there's 2 things that you need in your life, it's those Eggman-like qualities. Don't give up. Take a page out of Eggman's book. Never mind. So what I'm saying is, be persistent. Go after what you gotta do, just like Eggman. He never gives up. Ever. Ever. Don't be a Sonic. Don't be entitled like Sonic. Always winning at life. I need to move on with this. Alright, so the adventure begins. While pursuing Eggman, Sonic runs into Tails, who's being kidnapped by Eggman. I don't know why Eggman's trying to carry all these guys off, but he's trying to do that. Sonic defeats the next boss called the Egg Totem and saves Tails, who is then unlocked at that point in the game. But we're just talking about the timeline, not necessarily gameplay. But I'm probably going to talk about gameplay anyway, because this game is important gameplay-wise. And the story continues. It's more and more 2D platforming until you reach the next act, where you run into Knuckles on one of Eggman's machines called the Egg Saucer. Once you destroy the Egg Saucer, you find out that Knuckles has been tricked again. They don't even really go into how he got tricked or what Eggman told him, but I think that's just a running gag that they decided to go through at this point.
I'm fucking stupid!
And I think that's when you unlock Knuckles to be playable, and then after that, it's pretty much a straightforward Sonic game. But Sonic is beating Eggman in each act until you reach the final confrontation. Now, you can get the good ending of the game if you obtain all 7 So you can get the good ending of this game if you obtain all 7 Chaos Emeralds and beat the game with all the characters you unlock. After defeating the final boss, you'll see that Eggman goes after Cream's mother, Vanilla. It's another food pun, you know, cream, cheese, and vanilla. So Eggman goes after Cream's mother, and the situation seems hopeless. Sonic rushes over to a crying Cream and transforms into Super Sonic in the most badasses of ways, as he always does, and goes after our dog Eggman. After that final showdown, you see Sonic and Vanilla descending from the sky, and they land safely. Cream is happy, everyone's happy, and now Cream is like a permanent addition to the Sonic franchise, I guess, until like recently, where they don't really want to acknowledge where the heck she is. Unless you're reading the comics. I think you should read the comics. I think you should check out Sonic IDW. That's just me. That's Sonic Advance 2. This game is actually very important to the overall Sonic franchise because it added a lot of elements that would be later added to certain 2D platforms in the Sonic franchise. So of course, Sonic Advance 3 and the Sonic Rush series. And I think some of that was even taken into the boost formula that we see in Sonic Unleashed and Generations, but we don't really know what those games are yet because we're going in the order of the timeline, right? So if you thought Sonic Advance was an emphasis on speed, this may as well be called Sonic Advance 2, Gotta Go Fast. And this is a controversial title to a lot of people because you gotta really emphasize on speed and quick movements and jumps to get out of the way of obstacles coming your way. There's gonna be pitfalls, springs, jump pads, grind rails, all the above, and it introduced a new boost mode where if you run as fast as possible, you actually shatter the sound barrier. And I didn't know this, but you can shorten the time that boost mode takes to activate if you collect more rings. So, rings do have an emphasis on your speed in this game. They also introduce little trick actions that you can do in mid-air by pressing the R button on the Game Boy Advance. So, it gives you a little bit more speed moving forward, depending on which way you point the trick. So if you point it up, you're gonna get a little bit more air at the top of your jump if you use it at the right time. All of these things were implemented in later 2D renditions of Sonic, so I pictured this being a very game-changing game for the 2D formula. Cream the Rabbit.
Well, I don't like to say anything negative, but no.
Since Cream the Rabbit was introduced in this game, she serves as kind of an easy mode where she can fly faster than Tails, and she can also use cheese to kill on-screen enemies or just hit a boss by pressing the B button. So it kind of plays itself when you're playing as Cream, so if you're new to the Sonic franchise and you want to hop into these advanced titles, Cream's probably your best bet to get into before you play as Sonic and the rest of the characters. Amy Rose is also making a comeback in this game, though she's more of an optional character and doesn't really have a mainstay in the main plot. But if you unlock all the characters and collect all the Chaos Emeralds, then you can have access to Amy Rose. So that's it for Sonic Advance 2. Our plots remain pretty simple right about now, right? You know, I don't think there's any big mainline game changers coming along the line. Oh, I lied, it's time for Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes. Actually tricked you guys. It's not Sonic Heroes that's next on the list because you thought that was what was going to come after. No, I have one of the most unorthodox theories to loop this timeline with a nice ribbon on top of the gift. So, next in line is actually Sonic Pinball Party.
Huh?
Yes, I went there, I said it. Sonic Pinball Party, half of you don't even know about this game. Sonic Pinball Party was another Sonic game for the Game Boy Advance released in June 2003. And Sonic Pinball Party actually has a story mode, and in it, Sonic has to face 5 different opponents. I get knocked down! And the plot basically goes like this. After Dr. Eggman's previous attempt was foiled in Sonic Adventure. So after the events of Sonic Advance 2, where Dr. Eggman tried to take over the world and was foiled again by Sonic, this one takes place again in Casinopolis. Casinopolis? How would you pronounce that? Casinopolis? Let's go to
Casinopolis.
So
Casinopolis.
Do you remember that from Sonic Adventure? Did we even talk about that in that video? That's a level in Sonic Adventure. Anyway, numerous animals visiting this place are kidnapped by Dr. Eggman and once again transformed into his robotic slaves. Dr. Eggman also manages to brainwash Tails, Amy, and Knuckles. No, not Knuckles, because Knuckles is stupid.
Fucking stupid!
Eggman manages to brainwash Tails and Amy and decides to start a pinball tournament of all things. I think this is when he really starts losing his mind a little bit. But he calls it the Egg Cup Tournament, and Sonic has to defeat all of his friends before taking on Metal Sonic and Dr. Eggman in the finals to finally defeat them once and for all and rescue all the animals. There's some really decent pictures in here, like with Tails and Amy with red eyes, and it's just like super jarring. But aside from that, this leads into the next game because it's very important to take a look that Sonic is taking on Metal Sonic in a pinball match. And with Sonic victorious, Metal Sonic hates our boy Sonic with a passion, where he starts thinking, doing algorithms in his brain to say, how can I finally take this man out? I'm really alluding to plots that are gonna come very soon, but I'm not gonna get there. Gameplay wise, it's a pretty decent pinball game. If you're into Game Boy Advance classics and like party games from back in the day, this is a pretty good one. It has a few decent boards that you can play around with, but that's Sonic Pinball Party and our timeline. The cool thing about this game is you also get cameos from other Sega franchises like Nights into Dreams, Samba de Amigo, Burning Rangers, Phantasy Star Online.
Hey, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? What's with all the Marlins?
Choo Choo Rocket. You know, the Sega franchises that Sega hates to follow up on? Yeah, I went there. So after this in the timeline, we finally get Sonic Advance 3. Sonic Heroes. It's Sonic Heroes. So Sonic Heroes was the next mainline game in the Sonic franchise, releasing for GameCube, PlayStation, Xbox, and around January 2004 in the United States. The story begins with Sonic and crew meeting up after Sonic receives a letter from Dr. Eggman. So after receiving this letter, Team Sonic, or Sonic Team, no, Sonic Team are the developers, Team Sonic is Team Sonic. Okay, so after receiving the letter, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles gladly accept and race to go find the Doctor and defeat him and foil his plans once again. I mean, you get a letter saying, yo, like, come on, me and my boys are ready. I dare you to come stop me in my plan. You're gonna be like, yo, come, like, pull up, dog. We want all the smoke. You know what I mean?
Yo ass finna get shot.
So, of course, Sonic wants most of the smoke. Tails is like, I'm just flying my plane, so let's go. I haven't really been on my feet since Sonic Adventure. And then Knuckles is finally in a game where he hasn't gotten tricked in the last few, like, renditions of Sonic. So there you go. We have a team. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Rouge the Bat, who we haven't seen in a while,
About to beat my meat. About to beat my meat.
is showing up at one of Eggman's old bases, and she discovers, oh my god, Shadow is alive. Yes, it is true. Shadow lives. And so once she sees Shadow in this capsule, another capsule opens up with a huge robot known as E123 Omega. After a brief little spat, they decide that they should work together to figure out how the heck Shadow got there in the first place and get revenge on Eggman. Blah, blah, blah. Pretty much Omega's gonna come out with his guns and just fill him up like cream and cheese, if you know what I'm saying. Bust him open like... You know, Omega over here with the guns trying to left Eggman holy like him named the priest. They form a team, and then elsewhere on a resort is Amy Rose.
No.
With her new friend Cream. Oh my gosh, and wait, Big the Cat?
Hold up.
What are you doing chilling with Amy and Cream? The heck? So she sees an ad that shows Sonic in it with a Chow and a frog. What a coincidental picture this is. Or is it?
Froggy!
So Cream decides that Chow in the photo is her other pet Chow named Chocola. And Big the Cat sees the frog, who he thinks is Froggy. It basically is Froggy. And then they decide to get together to find Sonic and get back their pet friends, I guess. And then finally, elsewhere on the planet, we see the Chaotix Detective Agency. You recognize these guys, right? Remember that Chaotix game that I covered like a couple videos back? Was it last video? I think it's 2 videos ago. Which timeline one is that again? They go, they do work for everybody, they're detectives, but before that, this was their humble beginnings. Anyway, it's the Chaotix, and they're back, and now they're a detective agency apparently after the little mishap that they had on that one island a long time ago. I forget the name of it, and I'm not going back to my old video to go find out.
Moving on.
So they get a mysterious package that has a walkie-talkie in it, and in there is some client who promises them that they can earn some money if they work for him. So Vector the Crocodile, Charmy Bee, and Espio the Chameleon go out on adventure to work for this mysterious person. So now that our teams are set, you guys realize why they call it Sonic Heroes. Gameplay takes place in the 4 different teams. Team Sonic with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Team Dark with Shadow, Rouge, and Omega, Team Rose with Amy, Cream, and Big, and Team Chaotix with Vector, Charmy, and Espio. By the way, as a side note, in this game they replaced Tails' voice actor with some other person, and oh my god, is it grindy. It's like, oh, it's so jarring. Don't listen to it. Get it out of my ears. Alright, so I guess I gotta split the story up into all 4 teams. The stories are kind of intertwined as the hero teams meet each other at some point, and they even fight each other in a few boss battles. But there's a lot going on that we need to unpack for the timeline. So with Team Sonic, they get this dare from Dr. Eggman saying that they got 3 days to stop him, otherwise he's gonna conquer the world. So Yeah, have at it, boys. So the Team Sonic plot is pretty straightforward. They run from level to level, collecting Chaos Emeralds and also defeating Eggman in his latest creations as they race against the clock. After a while, you only have 24 hours left, and they get into an altercation both with Team Rose, with a crazy Amy who said she's not gonna let Sonic go unless she marries him.
FBI should be knocking on his door any minute now.
And another altercation with Team Dark, with Sonic and Shadow meeting each other for the first time since Sonic Adventure 2. So of course this moment had to happen, even though it's bad writing and there was no real reason for them to fight whatsoever. But you know what, whatever. We got the fan service, boys. So they go through the remainder of the stages, they board the Egg Fleet, and they defeat Eggman in his Egg Emperor. After they blow up this fleet, Amy chases after Sonic, and we think everything is over with as Tails and Knuckles look at him and wish that they had a simp like that in their lives. The most interesting part of the plot is mainly in the Team Dark story, where they're trying to investigate Eggman's motives and track him down to give him the right. I don't like to inject my opinion in the timelines here, but I think E123 Omega is a very interesting character in general. He's a robot that's basically gone rogue and went against Eggman's programming from the beginning. Does that sound familiar? Well, he's clearly based off of E102 Gamma from Sonic Adventure, and we covered that story where this robot realized what his existence was and did everything that it could to save the animal inside of it as well as its friends. E123 Omega is a similar deal. He's upset with Eggman, but he doesn't really know why, and it's against his program, and he wants to basically take this guy out for sealing him away, and I guess Eggman put him away in the first place because he was disobedient. There are some theories that E123 is actually a rebuilt Gamma recovered by Eggman himself. So it would fit, but you know, this is why we're doing this timeline in the first place, because Sega hates to make anything canon. But that's just my opinion. But that's just my gripe with Sega. Let's not even worry about that right now. We gotta make another video on that somewhere else. So anyway, this team basically are three misfits brought together by a common goal, and it's Eggman in general.
It's a terrible joke.
And they want answers. So we go through levels once again, defeating Eggman's robots and also clashing against other teams, like Team Chaotix for instance, though there's not much motive for this fight. In one particular cutscene, after defeating the Robot Carnival, Eggman claims Shadow has no past. And this gives everyone the inkling that there's more going on than what meets the eye. After a couple more levels, they beat Eggman again in the Egg Albatross, and it turns out to be a fake Eggman in general. Shadow also sees a broken Shadow android, bringing his existence into question in the first place. Now we're wondering if Shadow is actually a real Shadow. Now we're wondering if Shadow is actually the Shadow from Sonic Adventure 2, or is he just an android created from Shadow's likeness by Eggman? And I think this was just enough pizzazz that the story needed to keep things interesting between the perspectives of each team. While all this is going on, a form of Metal Sonic called Neo Metal Sonic is copying everyone's data. I was gonna reveal that later, but I feel now is a good time. So keep that in mind. That's gonna be important toward the end. So after progressing through a few more levels, you end up on the Egg Fleet again with Team Dark, and they have the same exact boss battle with Eggman in the Egg Emperor. Once they beat this fake Eggman, Rouge finds a secret treasure that she was looking for in the beginning of the game. I think I forgot to mention that in my intro. But what she finds turns the plot on its head. It's numerous capsules filled with androids that look exactly like Shadow. With some incredible character development from Omega, he reassures Rouge and tells her the original Shadow must be out there somewhere if several duplicates exist in Eggman's facility. They then all leave together and plan on stealing that Master Emerald that I guess Knuckles has neglected to protect. This is Sega and their canon again. I don't know. Why is Knuckles here in the first place? Why isn't he protecting his Master Emerald? Isn't that in the rap song that he sings in like all of the games? Like,
born on an island in the heavens, the blood of my ancestors flows inside me. My duty is to save the flower.
Hold on a minute, player.
My duty is to save the flower.
What the fuck do you even mean, man?
Anyway, the Master Emerald barely has much presence in this game. Team Rose is very similar to the Team Sonic setup. It's the easy mode of the game, and it's basically Amy obsessed with wanting to marry Sonic. So they go through level, with that being their motive in the first place. And Cream and Big, these poor souls, just go along with Amy because she's their best bet to help them find their friends because everyone else is busy. Am I right? Okay. Just like with the other teams, they realize that Eggman is a fake whenever they fight him, but they pursue Eggman believing that Froggy and Chocola are missing because of him. They get to Eggman's egg fleet and defeat his Egg Emperor, and once they defeat him, he dissolves into Chocola and Froggy, and everyone's reunited. Big and Cheese and Cream and Amy are all happy, and Amy still hasn't married Sonic, so maybe she's the only one who hasn't achieved her goal.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
But the most important plot device of the Team Rose section is a voice in the background saying,
Chaos data has been copied.
is this game really finishing? I mean, look at all these plot points that aren't resolved at the end of these stories. I don't know, there must be something else, am I right? Alright, on to Team Chaotix. So I consider this game the official introduction to Team Chaotix. SBO Charmy and Vector were all introduced in the original Chaotix game for the 32X, but there wasn't really much plot going on there, and especially that ending that I said I hated so much in that version of the timeline. This is when they're a little bit fleshed out and they have roles to serve, and they've still stuck with the Chaotix Detective Agency in the canon to this day. So with the motive of money, the most believable motive in this entire game, they work for this mysterious client who's on their walkie-talkie, doing certain missions for them as they travel from level to level. Just like the other teams, they beat Eggman in several different robots while clashing with two other teams, being Team Dark and Team Rose.
Dramatic.
Pause!
Though as they keep doing these missions for the client, they get a little suspicious of who they're actually talking to. Their adventure takes them to the Egg Fleet, where they defeat Eggman and the Egg Emperor once again. This is the fourth team to actually do this, so I feel like there's just 4 different Eggmans that were fought at the exact same time on different parts of the ship. So let's call it that for the sake of continuity here. So once again, I mean, I'm sure you guys know by now, this Eggman is a fake, and they rescued their client, which is, plot twist, the real Dr. Eggman. We have not been fighting Eggman this whole time. So who has been orchestrating all of this? I already spoiled it, but who's been orchestrating all of this? Well, it's our boy, Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic has been upset because Sonic beat him in Pinball in the last game. Yes, I'm tying these 2 games together. Great, can we put something on the screen that's like super dramatic, just putting the 2 timelines together from Sonic Pinball Party to Sonic Heroes? This is a big revelation, guys. Metal Sonic was salty from his loss in Pinball, where he actually had to throw Eggman out of the picture and go through with nefarious deeds on his own. This is when we move into the last story of Sonic Heroes. All of our teams are already together on the main ship of the Egg Fleet, and they go outside to see a Neo Metal Sonic transforming. He's been collecting their data all throughout the game, and this was his entire motive of sending them on these wild goose chases, to collect their data to make him even more powerful. He combines their data with power of Chaos as well, who I assume where did he get that again? Did they explain that? Great, how does he copy Chaos's power? Chaos is dead. Did he get it from Chocola and Froggy? Froggy, who once had contact with Chaos? Was it something like that? Don't get on me at that. I don't know where he got it from, he just has it. Anyway, after he transforms into this huge dragon Metal Madness thing, all teams work together to stop Metal Sonic. And in this epic cutscene, where Sonic uses the power of friendship, which is a lie. He just uses the 7 Chaos Emeralds to turn Super Sonic and defeat Metal Overlord, which is even crazier boss. I think what we're all upset about here is the fact that Tails and Knuckles don't have a super form. It's just Sonic, who is super, and then them in yellow shells that Sonic throws around at people. That's not Team Super Sonic. That's Super Sonic and friends. So I guess they don't want to give Knuckles and Tails super forms anymore. Sega, get your shit together, man. Alright, anyway, so Team Super Sonic kicks the shit out of our boy Metal Sonic. Like, they can't even fathom how much they beat this boy down. Like, you just see him, he can't even talk. He's on the ground. He's not even Neo anymore. He's just this basic Metal Sonic, plain ass. I beat you in Pinball. Look at you on the ground. You're looking pretty whack, son. He's just there lying in defeat.
It's a terrible joke.
And Sonic, in the most Goku-ass ways, tells Metal Sonic,
anytime you want a rematch, just let me know. I'll be waiting.
And then he runs off, with Tails and Amy giving chase, and Knuckles and Rouge flirting, and they go look for the Master Emerald. Why is Knuckles looking for the Master Emerald? Questions that need to be answered, Sega. And finally, Team Chaotix go after Eggman for their money, while Shadow and Omega basically take Metal Sonic off to be deleted. Like, I think the implication of this is they took him out to the trash, bro, because we haven't seen Metal Sonic in a mainline game ever since. I mean, you can count Sonic Forces, but that's not really him, more of an illusion. So I think they trashed this, bro. I don't know. Do you think Metal Sonic is dead after this moment? Leave some comments below. What do you think is the fate of Metal Sonic? Dead or dead? And the game ends with our boys Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles running off to their next adventure. I thought Knuckles was trying to find the Master Emerald, but I guess we don't care about that either. Continuity is a bitch, ain't it? So at this point, our timeline is pretty straightforward and a little less confusing than the ones that I've had to do before, especially the classic era. But we're gonna move back to the Game Boy Advance now with a little title called Sonic Battle. And I'm not sure if a lot of people have played Sonic Battle, but this is one of my absolute favorite stories in the Sonic continuity. So listen up, kids. It's about to get pretty dicey. Next up is Sonic Battle.
No.
So the next game in the time.
Oh shit!
So the next game in the timeline is Shadow the Hedgehog.
Hedgehog's a bitch ass motherfucker.
This one's a little bit debatable, but before I get to that, let me address my change of clothes. I am actually reporting to you live 5 years from the future, the year 2025. You thought 2020 was bad? You should see this shit. It's going. You don't even want to deal with that. Gray, don't give him any spoilers, but I'm about to tell you everything that's going on. Anyway, no one needs to know about what I just told my editor, but he knows. He's all knowing now. Don't tell him anything. No spoilers. Alright, so Shadow the Hedgehog's a bitch. So the location of this game is a little bit debatable in the timeline, but I'm putting it directly after Sonic Heroes. So the events of Shadow the Hedgehog pick up a little bit after Sonic Heroes, where Shadow's dealing with his amnesia, wondering who the heck he is in the grand scheme of things. The only thing he remembers is his creator's granddaughter, Maria, who we know from Sonic Adventure 2. She got the blat, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, while he's pondering that information, he has to deal with an alien that descends down from nowhere, Independence Day style, pulling up to him and saying, "Yo, my name is Black Doom."
What?
Pulling up to him and saying, "Yo, my name is Black Doom, Black Doom, Black Doom, Black Doom. And if you want to know about yourself, go out and collect the Chaos Emeralds for me." Sounds like a very trustworthy individual. But Shadow goes out on this mission to find more about who this alien is and why he knows his name is Shadow. And he wants to collect the Chaos Emeralds to learn more about his past. Alright then. Now this game, Gray, is right up our alley because there's so many different endings. That means there's several different dimensions and timelines in this one game. And you know, I don't know, it's up to you if you want to draw all of these out. There's about 10 different endings based on the actions and the people you ally with in the game itself. I will only be including the true ending on this timeline, but just for shits and giggles, there's one where Shadow kills Eggman. There's another one where he beats the shit out of Sonic and all the guns people, and he kicks all the Chaos Emeralds to himself, and he says, "I am the ultimate life form, and I am meant to destroy humanity." Some dark timelines in there. Also, this is the one that gives Shadow a gun. Everyone knows Shadow wields a gun in this one, and he has a bunch of vehicles, and he's going around doing a bunch of out-of-character stuff. That's that Shadow the Hedgehog game. But we're not going to talk about that. We're only here to talk about plots. Am I right? Okay. So during the events, while he's collecting these Chaos Emeralds, he also wonders if he's an android created by Eggman. This is hinted at the end of Sonic Heroes, where Rouge and Omega discovered this whole chamber filled with androids that look like Shadow. So this whole time, we're trying to figure out if he is the true Shadow that we saw in Sonic Adventure 2. And ultimately, no pun intended, the ultimate life form. So as you progress through the game, you pick the allies that you want to ally with, but in the true ending, to get the true ending, you actually have to complete all 10 endings in the game, which unlocks the real canon ending that we're going to cover for this timeline. Black Doom tricks Shadow.
You are stupid!
And uses Chaos Control, enhanced by all 7 Chaos Emeralds, to bring his black cock bring his black comet planet back to Earth's surface to use humanity itself as food. Can you believe that? Like, as an energy source? Can you believe that this guy would betray us? I mean, he looks so trustworthy at the very beginning. I was betrayed at the end of this. You know what I'm saying? How dare this alien come to this planet and do all this stuff?
I'm fucking stupid.
So for some reason during all of this, Sonic and his friends are incapacitated because remember, this is Shadow's game, so we can't have that, right? So Sonic, move to the side. We've already had enough games with you in it. We're moving on. So after all this bullshit goes down, Shadow confronts Black Doom and says, hey, come on, bro. What the heck is going on? Why do you know my name? So it turns out that Gerald Robotnik, Shadow's creator, created the Eclipse cannon in the arc that we see blow up the moon in Sonic Adventure 2. That cannon in particular was used to actually destroy Black Comet if it ever came back to Earth. Okay. Mind blown, right? And it also so happens that Gerald Robotnik met with Black Doom and used a sample of his blood to create Shadow. So in a really Darth Vader moment, we find out that Black Doom is actually Shadow's father, biologically. Real shit, right? So Black Doom says, haha,
I'm your daddy.
You're made of my blood. And Shadow says, okay, I don't care. He transforms into Super Shadow and destroys Black Doom and saves the world. And everyone looks at Shadow and says, we're so proud of you. And then he turns his back on his past and says, I'm done with all that Maria, Dr. Gerald Robotnik shit. I'm just gonna live my life. We're gonna hear about them one more time, don't worry. But that's basically the plot of Shadow the Hedgehog, and I'm putting it on a very special part of this timeline right after Sonic Heroes. Don't worry, shit's about to get spicy, alright? Next up is Sonic Battle. Now this is kind of a controversial set of events because some people don't really know where to put Shadow the Hedgehog versus Sonic Battle, and this is all based around the events of Shadow the Hedgehog and Shadow's story in Sonic Battle. But we'll get there. Now excuse me if I gush a little bit about Sonic Battle because I do enjoy the story quite a bit, but our tale begins from the perspective of Dr. Eggman, who's studying the diary of his grandfather, Professor Gerald Robotnik. See, I told you he was going to come up again, one way or another. So through his diary, we learn about a 4,000-year-old weapon that was created in an ancient civilization. I feel like I've said ancient civilization so many times through all 3 parts of this timeline. There was once a great and prosperous people. Ancient civilization, lost civilization. Ancient civilization, the territory of a clan of echidnas. It's not that bad. They are back. Who these people are, we still don't know. But this weapon is called a Gizoid. Apparently it has this crazy destructive abilities. It's basically like an ultimate life form from 4,000 years ago from some other civilization. So Eggman gets frustrated that he can't get this damn thing to work, and you see him kick the shit out of it. Well, it's implied, but he's basically kicking the shit out of it in that early cutscene, and he dumps it on Emerald Beach. Now, Emerald Beach is in an area where Sonic and his friends have settled after the events of Sonic Adventure 2, I would say. And I think it's in the general vicinity of where the events of Sonic Adventure took place, as well as all the other games, except when they were out adventuring, I suppose. I'm gonna assume that's in Sonic Heroes. They actually went and traveled places. I digress. So once this ancient robot, or Gizoid, is dumped in Emerald Beach, who else but our friend Sonic the Hedgehog discovers it on the beach. After interacting briefly with the Gizoid, Sonic demonstrates his abilities, which establishes a link between the two. He's basically his father now. Sonic is this Gizoid's
daddy.
So a link is basically like an imprint, similar to how your dog would imprint on you after a while. Let me rephrase that. So basically this Gizoid works as a pet, similar to how your dog treats you as the master, or their father or parents after a while of being around you. The Gizoid does this in a similar way for Sonic, and the only one he really listens to is Sonic at this point in time as they've developed this link. So Sonic names him Emerald because, you know, apparently he uses the Chaos Emeralds. I'll get to that later.
I hate being kept in the dark like this.
But not only does Emerald use the Chaos Emeralds to enhance his abilities, he can actually perfectly replicate any moves that he sees. So at the very beginning, he has a very rudimentary understanding of Sonic's abilities. So when you battle with him, he has very basic variations of Sonic's moves in the game. Now, I probably could talk about this game for an hour, and I may even make a whole separate video about this because Gray again proved me wrong. This is one of the lost gems of the Sonic community on YouTube. I don't see a lot of people talking about this. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure something's gonna go over here proving me wrong.
That's entirely accurate. it doesn't count.
What I like most about this game is that it just really seeps itself in character development. But plot-wise, a lot of the story focuses around Emerald's perspective. As Emerald interacts with each of Sonic's friends, they all have different lessons about the world and life to bring to the table. It really explores the flaws of each and every Sonic character in this game, with Knuckles being overly aggressive and gullible, Tails being intelligent but somewhat cowardly at moments. I'm embellishing that a little bit. Sonic, who is often around to save the day but is pretty snarky. What I like is this whole inside joke of him being passed around to each of Sonic's friends and him coming back with a smarter mouth each time. Emerald is not only learning moves from all of these characters, he's actually learning language and slang from them as well. So if he badmouths somebody or he says something slick, they often ask whether it was Sonic or Knuckles that imprinted that information into him. We get to see Emerald interact with all these characters, and each Chaos Emerald that he gets from each character's story enhances his abilities and intelligence more and more and more until eventually all the Chaos Emeralds are obtained. Once Emerald achieves full sentience from all these Chaos Emeralds, Eggman decides to bring him back to the Death Egg and capture him for his own nefarious deeds. And since this is a bit of a lower key adventure, Sonic believes that Emerald is ready to combat Eggman himself. I mean, it's pretty crazy how you go through this game and get to grow Emerald and customize his abilities based on the characters that you learn them from. So once you're at the end, you have this perfect Emerald that you can work with to fight against Eggman. So Emerald managed to spank the shit out of Eggman, like he just cleans it up. He's gone so powerful after absorbing all the 7 Chaos Emeralds that is not really much of a fight for him. But of course, Eggman, our boy, who never gives up, ever, uses a special blaster to delete the link between Emerald and Sonic, and he overrides that link with his own. So now Emerald, in all of his glory and masterful power that you yourself, the player, customized the whole time, you gotta take him down with Sonic. So it becomes a very emotional battle to stop Emerald. Otherwise, it could be very destructive to the planet overall to leave him alive. And Sonic has to unfortunately take down Emerald. Once all of that's said and done, Emerald has a brief moment of clarity to thank all of his friends and say farewell in this really emotional scene. And he overloads himself with energy and explodes. They kill this guy off at the end of the game. See, Sonic plots are getting darker and darker as we go down this rabbit hole. I'm telling you, you ain't seen nothing yet. The Chaos Emeralds, of course, are left behind, and Sonic returns home with his friends who are saddened by the loss. But he does reassure that they will see him again someday. We will.
I seriously doubt that.
But that's something I'll cover next time. Next time, baby. Next time. But yes, we are putting Sonic Battle after Sonic the Hedgehog on our timeline. Gray, are things getting confusing yet? Does everything look good? Are we cleaned up? Does everything look nice? So now we've reached the end of part 3. My children, I feel we've come so far. What a timeline this is, and we still haven't scratched the surface of the Sonic continuity. I want to thank my editor first and foremost. Put your credentials up, let him know who you are. And for you guys watching, leave comments below for anything that I missed. You know, like, we're doing this together. This is a group project, alright? So y'all have to put your own weight. In the comments below, I want to see any discrepancies that you may have found in the timeline thus far. Don't worry, we'll correct them. We always do.
Fucking kill me.
So up to this point, we have one straightforward timeline, except one from the classics that we called the Classic Timeline Mark II, or is it Mark III? Whatever. We put a bunch of Game Gear games in there, and then they eventually lead into Sonic the Fighters, and that was the very last one. Yes. I believe I'm right. So right now we're still on a one main timeline. Next time is gonna get pretty crazy because I have multiple dimensions coming out. It's gonna be wild. So I'll see you on the next exciting episode of TheMentok Timelines. I don't know if that title's gonna stick. TheMentok Timelines, work in progress. Anyway, my children, as always, please be safe. The Prophet has spoken.